Welcome to episode 21 of Impello's weekly trade finance series. I'm going to walk you through something that most TCI policyholders get wrong, the renewal conversation itself. Renewal is not an administrative exercise, it is a negotiation, and whether you arrive with leverage or without, it determines far more than the premium you pay. Here's a scenario that is not hypothetical. Two exporters renew their TCI with the same carrier in the same sector with similar buyer books. The first brings 12 months of AR reconciliation records, a documented history of proactive limit requests, and no uncovered gap-to-claim incidents. They engage their broker 90 days before expiry. The second brings a completed renewal application. Their first broker-carrier conversation of the year happens at renewal. The carrier has 12 months of portfolio data on both of them. The information asymmetry is real. The question is what each exporter brings to close it. Let me explain what the carrier actually knows when you walk into renewal. They maintain portfolio level data that no individual policyholder can access independently. 12 or more months of claim signals across all their insureds, sector level payment behavior, buyer payment trends across trade lanes and geographies. A buyer who looks acceptable in your AR aging may be flagged in the carrier's portfolio data because the same buyer or buyers in the same sector have been generating collection stress across multiple policyholders. Your renewal pricing and limit decisions reflect this assessment, whether you know it or not. The information asymmetry is structural. Closing it is the broker's core function at renewal, and it cannot be done on a 30-day runway. This is where mid-program discipline, the kind we covered in episode 20, pays off at renewal. The documentation you built throughout the year changes the carrier's assessment of your risk profile. AR to limit reconciliation records demonstrate that your exposures have been actively managed against approved limits. Proactive limit request history shows organized, forward-looking credit management, not reactive requests made under shipment pressure. Zero gap to claim incidents signal the program has been functioning as designed. And a mid-year sector and geography review shows you are tracking the same signals the carrier is. These are not soft impressions. They are documentable facts that tell a different risk story than a blank renewal application. Now, let's talk about what is actually on the table at renewal. Most policyholders focus on premium, the basis point negotiation, but premium is rarely where the most value is gained or lost. Limit structure matters more. Approved limits for priority buyers, aggregate versus per buyer sublimits, single buyer concentration caps. Discretionary credit limit terms matter. The threshold below which you can extend credit without waiting for individual carrier approval and the conditions attached. Waiting periods matter. The protracted default period for commercial risk and the timing of political risk claims. Political risk extensions matter. Which geographies are included, which events are covered, and what sublimits apply. And first loss deductibles and co-insurance percentages can be adjusted based on claims history and demonstrated program management. All of these are negotiable. The leverage that moves them in your favor is the documentation of how you ran the program. Here's the timeline that works. 90 days before expiry, engage your broker, identify your priority negotiation targets, the specific limit increases, DCL threshold, political risk extensions you want, and begin assembling the documentation package. 60 days out. The broker opens a substantive carrier conversation with that documentation in hand. Sector appetite, buyer level discussion, early indication of where there is room. 30 days out, renewal terms are under active negotiation, with time for counter proposals if the carrier's opening position is not where you need it. Compare that to the reactive pattern. Engage the broker 30 days out, submit the application, accept the carrier's opening terms. At 30 days, the deadline creates urgency that works against you. The broker has no runway to build a position. The negotiation has already started from behind. A few warning signs that tell you the renewal position is weak going in. No mid-program review completed. No documentation to bring to the carrier conversation. So the renewal application is the entire record. A reactive limit request history. The carrier has seen a pattern of emergency requests rather than plan management, which is a risk signal, not a neutral data point. Open claims or recently settled claims, not disqualifying, but it changes the conversation and narrows negotiating room, and the first broker-carrier conversation happening at renewal itself. If the relationship has been transactional, an annual call and an application, the negotiating ground is thinner. The preparation has a 90-day lead time. If any of these apply, the starting point is the mid-program work, not the renewal application. If your renewal is coming up in the next 90 days and the mid-program work from episode 20 has not been done, that is where this starts. The blog linked in the description gives you the full renewal framework, what to document, what to push for, and how the carrier conversation works when you come prepared. If you want to walk through it for your specific program, reach out to Impello. We begin renewal preparation 90 days before expiry, not 30. The preparation is the leverage. Subscribe for a new episode every week, and we will see you next Tuesday.